In this tutorial video, I'm going to show you how to add a text or title effect to your iMovie project. Now this is really easy, and I'm just going to show you the basics of how you add these text effects to your project so that you can at least get started and then kind of start playing around with all the options that you have. So to open up where these text and title effects are, all you need to do is click on this T symbol here, and that opens up this new tab that has a few title effects that come with iMovie that you can add to your project. Now a lot of these effects are pretty basic effects. You can't do a whole lot with them, but some of them you can make some minor tweaks here and there, and so you just need to start messing around with them so that you can start figuring out what they do. Now if you want to briefly see what these effects look like, you can actually just scroll over the top of them and you can actually see them playing back. So that's just a cool way to kind of see what that text is going to look like when you add it to your video. So let's say, for example, that I just want to add this center text to my video clip. So all I need to do is click and drag it over the top of my video clip. And up here in the viewer window, you'll see that this center text has now been added to my video. So to change this text, all I need to do is highlight it and change it to what I want it to say. And so if we play that back now, you'll see my text has been changed to the end. Now if you want to change the font color or size of your text, all you need to do is come up here to show fonts. And what that will do is open up this font tab here where you have these iMovie fonts, colors, and sizes for your text. And so as you scroll over the top of them, you can see over here in your viewer window what that new font will look like, what that color will look like, and even what that size will look like. And if you want to choose one, all you need to do is click on it and hit done. And now it's been changed here in your movie. Now if you want some more options besides just the ones that come with iMovie, what you can do is come up here to show fonts. You can actually click on System Font Panel. And what that's going to do is give you all the fonts that are on your Mac computer. And so now you have a bunch of choices to choose from, a bunch of sizes to choose from, and even a few more options down here. One thing to note though is that you want to make sure your text is outlined before you make one of these choices, because otherwise you won't be able to see it change in your viewer window on your video. And so now when you've decided which one you want to use and which size you want it to be, all you need to do is click done. And so now when we play this back, it now has that new font style and size added to the video. Now another thing you can do to your text is click and drag that text wherever you want it to be in your video clip. And if you want to change the duration of that text effect, you can just double click on it, open it up in the inspector window, and you can actually manually change that duration by typing in what you want it to be. So let's say we want it to be 10 seconds, we can type in 10 here, hit enter, and down here you'll actually see that it's now extended that text effect to 10 seconds. Also, some of these text effects automatically add a fade in out on your text. Now if you don't want that to automatically be added, you can just change that to manual, and then you can actually slide this slider to where you want it to be. And so now it's at 0 seconds, you hit done, and it's now made those changes down here on your video. So pretty simple. Now just a few other little adjustments that you can make with something like the center text. And something else that you could change to this center title text is just come up here and click on it, and if you click in front of it and hit the return key, you can actually make it so it's now on the bottom of the screen. You could also hit the return key by clicking on the end of the text and put it at the top of the screen. You could also move it to the right of the screen by clicking in front of it and hitting the space bar until it ends up on the right side of the screen. So that's just a quick way to kind of move around the text on the screen where you want it to be. And like I said before, all of these work a little bit differently, so you just need to start practicing with all these different title effects and figure out what little things you can tweak to them to make them look exactly how you want them to look. Let's say though, for example, that I've added this centered text, but I don't really like it. I want to change it up a little bit. Let's say I want to change it now to this horizontal blur. Now I don't want to have to delete this and then re-add horizontal blur, so I can actually change it to horizontal blur by double-clicking on the text in the project timeline. And here where it says title, I can actually click there, and here I can see all the different title effects that come with iMovie. Now the cool thing about this is that I can actually scroll over the top of them, and I can actually see what they look like over here in the viewer window as I'm scrolling over the top of them. So it's kind of a cool, quick way to see exactly what that text would look like. And just like with video and audio effects, you can scroll over the top of one of these and hit spacebar and actually see what it looks like playing back in real time. And as soon as you've decided which one of these you want, all you need to do is click on it and hit done. And just like that, it's now changed it to your video clip in your project. So very simple. Now something else that you might want to know is that if you add it to the blank space in your project timeline, that it's going to automatically ask you to choose a background for that text effect. Then all you need to do is quickly choose one of these backgrounds and click on it, and it'll automatically add that text now to your project. And then you can go ahead and just start changing that text to what you want it to say. And if we play that back, you'll now see that text playing over that background that you've chosen. So pretty easy. And that's pretty much the basics of how you add a text or title effect to your video in iMovie. Make sure you go ahead and just start practicing with all these different text effects so that you can get used to what they look like, what they do, and the types of tweaks and edits that you can add to each of them in your video projects. And this was a tutorial video on how to add text or title effects to your iMovie projects.